Today we're going to make our cranberry cream scones. To begin, we're going to take our dry ingredients, which consist of our flour, baking powder, which is our leavening ingredient, and salt. We're going to thoroughly mix that with a whisk to lighten up the mixture and also to incorporate things evenly. Next, we're going to add in our dried cranberries. This is going to be the garnish for our scones today. To that mixture, we also want to add our sugar, which is going to be our sweetener. If we're making a savory scone, we would just eliminate the sugar. Now we're going to use a microplane zester to remove the zest from the outside of our orange. When you are removing the zest of any citrus fruit, you want to take off the first layer, which is the brightest color of the citrus fruit. Here it is, the orange layer. Once you get past that layer to the white layer, that is called the pith, and the pith becomes very bitter. So we're looking for just the outer layer, which is where all the essential oils lie. Now we're going to switch to a wooden spoon so that we can mix our ingredients a little bit more together as opposed to using the whisk. And to our ingredients, once we've now incorporated all of our dry ingredients, we're now going to add in our heavy cream. So we'll add the heavy cream in all at once. Make sure we use a rubber spatula to get all of that out of the container. We need all that moisture in this recipe. We also want to make sure that something expensive like heavy cream does not get left behind and wash down the drain. So we want to get that all out using our rubber spatula. We'll continue to mix. Begin very carefully so that you don't make a mess. And we're going to start to stir this together until the flour absorbs all of the dairy product. It's very important to use heavy cream. You can use a mixture with a little bit of half and half, but heavy cream is really what makes this recipe work really well and have great flavor and great texture. So now we can either work directly on our countertop, or here I use my baking board. This actually is my grandmother's baking board. It's got to be about 60-something years old. It's probably one of the first things that actually inspired me to go into baking. So I use it as often as I can. So now what we'll do is we will take our flour and we'll flour the board so that nothing sticks. We'll use our rubber bowl scraper to get all of the ingredients out of the bowl. Give it one last final mix. And now we'll take the recipe out of the bowl, scraping down the sides, getting everything out. We want to make sure to clean the bowl, clean off the bowl scraper. And also we can throw a little bit of flour on our hands just to clean all of the dough off of our hands. We're going to gently knead this together, and what we're looking for is the dough to come together and become nice and smooth, to pick up all of the dry ingredients that were on the board and that came out of the bowl with it. So be careful not to use too much flour. You want enough here just to keep it from sticking to whatever surface you're working on. But you don't want to add a tremendous amount of more flour because you'll end up drying the mixture out. So just enough to keep it from sticking. So bring this together and just roll it into a nice even log, and this will allow us to be able to separate or portion it evenly. So we're going to take our bench scraper and we're going to cut that in half. You can also use a knife at that point. And just a little more flour to keep it from sticking, and now we're going to roll each half into a longer log. And really what we're doing by this is just getting nice even pieces so that we can portion out our sizes. Now we're making round scones. You certainly can cut these into triangles. There's definitely different shapes. Some people like the round scones, some people like the triangle scones. We just make this because when we're making it in school and making it for catering reasons, it's much easier to roll these logs and to cut our rounds. So make sure each one is nice and even. You can line them up together. Our next step is that we're going to use a knife, and we're just going to cut or score the dough in half, then into quarters, and then each quarter into thirds. And that will give us 12 pieces per or 12 scones per log, which is going to give us a total of 24. If you find that it's sticking to the knife, just put a little flour on so that you can continue to cut through. Our nice even pieces will give us the ability to bake these, and that they will bake nice and evenly. Not one of them will be over or underdone. Our next step is to take a parchment lined sheet pan and to now transfer our scones. I'm just gently shaping them into a little bit more of a round shape. I'm also making sure that I leave enough space on the pan so that when it does bake, it has space to spread out, because what's going to happen with our leavening agent of our baking powder. And it also allows for the airflow to go around the product. So this is the same concept as when we were making cookies, of how we set up our sheet pans so that we allow space for it to evenly bake. Okay, I'll get a second sheet pan with parchment paper. Again, just shaping them and spreading them evenly. This will fit onto 2 half sheet pans. So just as I got down to the end, I just kind of readjusted to make sure that I could fit all of my pieces evenly onto each pan. So just a little bit of an adjustment. And we'll just adjust that first pan to get this last piece on. And once we have that set up, we'll be ready to finish them. Our next step is going to be getting some heavy cream and some sugar. And we're going to brush the tops with heavy cream. This is going to help with the browning or the caramelization. It causes something called a Maillard reaction, which gives us our nice golden finish. We're also going to add a little sprinkle of sugar. This will give us another layer of sweetness, give us a little crunch, and again also help with that Maillard or that caramelizing aspect of our baking. So here's our final product. And here are some other examples. This is a blueberry scone with a nice glaze on top. Here's a plain scone, or almost like a biscuit, with a raspberry or a strawberry jam. Here's a chocolate chip scone. And you can also make these savory. This has a little bit of cheddar and bacon and some chives.